All right, this is Brother Aisha Yar coming at you with another lesson. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstone, which I learned is true from. Honors to the elders and brothers out there pushing this word through the four corners of the earth within truth and sincerity. And shalom to the Akwath that's listening and learning. Today, I want to get into a topic speaking about pride, because I've been running to a lot of brothers' videos where, there's a lot of scoffers coming up out of nowhere. There's a lot of former members of GMS or other camps and everything like that who's speaking against the brothers who's been out here doing the work and within truth and sincerity. And they're pretty much, bucking up against what they're saying. They're nitpicking, so to speak, at certain things, so then they can find a way to uplift themselves within the spirit and everything like that. So then they can be like, oh, look, he said this, or, he said that, or whatever. That's going off. They trying to find anything that they can to make it so they can be like, look, I was right, pretty much, And, you got to get out of that spirit, man. The spirit tells you that you got to humble yourself as a little child. You got to humble yourself as children. If you know that you're doing wrong, and in the back of your mind, that you're doing wickedness, you got to humble yourself, man. You got to take your spiritual ass whooping, like I always like to say. You got to take that ass whooping and you got to move forward, man. Feel that burden, feel that regret within your spirit, feel that shame within your spirit, take hold of it and actually grasp it, man. Grab onto it and run with it, man. Because at the end of the day, man, you have to make sure that you're humble. You got to make sure that you're recognizing what these brothers are saying, because the scriptures tell you to rebuke. The scriptures tell you to reprove. Okay? That's coming out of love. Because we don't have to, we don't have to tell you to do these things, man, but the scriptures tell you to do so. We don't have to consistently or constantly tell you to get right. We don't have to keep telling you to do this thing. We can tell you once, we can tell you twice, 3 times, or whatever how many times the spirit leads us to do it. But at the end of the day, man, it's only up to you to humble yourself and hearken into these words. Because if you don't hearken into these words, pretty much, not even pretty much, you're just going to be destroyed, man, because that pride will take over when it's game time. When all hell breaks loose in these streets, that pride is going to take you over, and you're going to really believe everything that you've been saying just because you want to have that pride take over your spirit. You're going to believe all of those lies, all of that deceit, all of that those stories that you told, those vain things that you thought of, and you're going to really believe those things, even though in the back of your mind that shit was wicked. All right. And then next thing you know, that's going to get you destroyed, man. And that's what you don't want, man. You have to put that pride to the side. You have to really realize, look, I need to listen to these brothers. And not only listen to these brothers, but I need to pray and fast to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, so that way I could be in a better position. Okay? We all in this flesh, all right? We all do wicked. We all sin. None of us is good. Yahweh Shah said it himself. He was like, there's none good but one, which is the Most High, Yahweh. That's the only one that's good, man. Other than that, we all are worthy of damnation. We all are worthy of death. That's why we call ourselves the hopeful elect. That's why we always pray and fast, so we can find a way out. We can hope that the Most High, we can hope that Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai saves us out of this destruction that is to come. We don't want pride. We don't want to boast. We don't want to brag. If you realize you have a certain spiritual gift or something like that, where you're just a scripture master, where all the precepts are at, or you're a historical master, you know all about history, or whatever your lot is, you don't want to capitalize on that, so to speak. You don't want to be like, man, I know all about this. I know all about that. So I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to bring that out. And there's nothing y'all can tell me, man, because this is what I do. This is what I do. Jake likes to get in that spirit. Oh, man, this is what I do, man. Nobody can touch me on this. Nah, man. There's always room for improvement. You know, you're supposed to be real well-rounded within this thing. You're supposed to be like, okay, well, I know where these certain scriptures at. I know a little bit of history. I know a little bit of this. I know a little bit of that. And then that way you're going to be ready for the battlefield where you go out to the highways and the byways. And when you do these sit downs, you have a legit game plan. You have a legit attack. So that way you can be, you can edify the flock, man. And that's what it is, man. Do not let this pride take over your spirit, man. You know, never do that, because like I said, all it's going to do is just lead you to damnation. So first, let's look up the word pride real quick. This is here it is. This is pride. It says a high or inordinate opinion of one's own dignity, importance, merit, or superiority, whether as cherished in the mind or as displayed in bearing, conduct, etc. The state or feeling of being proud, of becoming, or a dignified sense of what is due to oneself or one's position or character, self-respect, self-esteem, pleasure or satisfaction taken as something done by or belonging to oneself or believed to reflect credit upon oneself. See? Ooh, pleasure or satisfaction. You take pleasure and satisfaction into something that you believe, okay? And it only belongs to you. It only belongs to you. This is not what the whole ministry is preaching and teaching about. This is what belongs to you only, personally. This is a pleasure. So when you get this certain knowledge, when you get these certain understandings or these quote unquote breakdowns of the scriptures and everything like that, you know, because it is a lot of jakes out there. Oh man, I got the breakdown of this. I got the breakdown of that. You know, man, I'm so deep, you know, and everything like that. This is your own pleasure, your own satisfaction, because now you getting it to the point where you like, man, listen to me, because only you going to get in that spirit where you feel like only I have the truth. Only I have this certain understanding, which is not the case. Where did you learn this truth from? Where did you hear about this from? We were all in the world at one time, correct? So where did you learn this truth from? Who taught you this truth? That's why we always start our videos saying all double honors, where we start videos saying all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, because they are the ones ultimately who gave us the spirit to understand this truth. All right. But at the end of the day, they use men in order to teach other men about what's really going on. So who are those men, man? The apostles of GMS, because no matter what people say, everybody knows that the truth came from the old school One West back in New York, man. The brothers who were there back in those days, that's where the truth started, and now it has blossomed into the whole world, man. Now the whole world knows about this truth. That's why we always say double honors to the apostles of the great millstone. Start with Apostle Tahar on down. It has started with men before Apostle Tahar, you know, like Abba Bivens, King Mashah, so forth and so on, you know. But right now in these days, man, Apostle Tahar, whether you believe it or not, he is the leader of the whole world of Israel. He is the leader, man. Okay, he's the one, you know, when you look at his channel, he uploads like crazy. He brings out everything that you need to know. And he bees 100%, 144% real with you, man. This is who we learn this truth from, the apostles. So when you come into this truth, man, you cannot be proud. You learn about this truth from someone else. So you cannot say that you have a deep breakdown, because now how crazy does that make you look? You learn this breakdown from someone else, and then as soon as you gain a little bit of knowledge, now you're able to understand this and come to certain scriptures and break down these scriptures or these verses within your own understanding. That doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense, man. No, you cannot take away or add from the scriptures. You cannot take away or add from what you were taught, man. You doing something extra, okay? Now, when you look at these other definitions, it says celebration of a specific minority group and affirmation of equal rights for members of that community, something that causes a person or persons to be proud, the best of a group, class, society, etc., the most flourishing state or period, metal in a horse, a lot of other things, whatever, pride and joy, someone or something cherished, value, or enjoyed above all, enjoyed above all others. That's a cut too, man. Because when you have this pride, this proud spirit upon you, man, you are definitely enjoying it more than others because only you can feel it. Only you can understand it. And now you're trying to make other people understand it. And don't get me wrong, you might actually get people to feel what you're feeling. And this is what we call false prophets. This is what we call division. Okay? Because now, after you to learn this truth from whoever you learned it from, and then you get this proud spirit upon you, guess what's going to happen? Now you're going to start bucking up against your own teachers. You're going to start bucking up against the brothers that you were with. And now you're going to start coming up with your own understanding, your own doctrine. And now look what's going to happen, man. Now you got to break off on your own. You got to do all these other things or whatever just for the simple. And then you're going to make enemies with the brothers that you were cool with. You know? Because at the end of the day, man, that's all it is, man. You just becoming enemies to the people that you once taught with. Okay? If we all taught the same thing, you know, these members of GMS and whoever teaches the likewise doctrine, they are all cool. They can chill with each other. They can chill with each other outside of camp, and they can form a camp together. Why? Because they teach the same thing. They don't have that proud spirit upon them. And that's what you got to understand, man. You got to understand that having that proud spirit can lead you astray. Having that proud spirit can have you alone in these streets. And that's one of the main things that brothers always say, man. It's definitely more difficult to teach this word by yourself. Okay? Because when you got to go out into these streets, these highways and byways and set up camp by yourself, you don't have, you don't know what can break out, people can start fights, people can argue with you, or you gotta set up the camera and make sure everything is operating correctly. Oh man, did the camera cut off? Did this do that? And do that, do this? Whatever the case may be, man, it's definitely more difficult for you to be out here by yourself. Okay, that's why the scriptures say, when there are two or three of you, here am I in the midst of you. Roughly paraphrasing, talk about Yahweh Shai. That's why it's always better. Apostle Gabar said that too. I remember a while ago when he was speaking about Elder Monatizak and your brother Yawam or Yawan. I keep forgetting which one it is. It's Yawam or Yawan. And he said, man, both of you together are better than just Monatizak out there teaching by himself. All right. Because when you have a team, man, it's exactly what it means. You have a team, okay? You have somebody who can support you. You can listen to what that brother is saying, and you can bounce off what he's saying, and vice versa, all right? So let's get into the scriptures, because I want to keep speaking, because that's the thing that can happen. This is Proverbs 8 and 10, and it says, receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. So the Most High hates any brother or sister that has pride, man. All right. And, you can go into as far as, having your own self-esteem or your own understanding and everything like that. Hey, they literally have a thing here called Pride Month. And, I'm not going to go into that, but we all know what that is. All right. The Most High hates that, man. He hates somebody who exalts themselves because of their own understanding of what they believe is right. Anything that's outside of these scriptures, anything, if you come up with your own understanding outside of what these scriptures are speaking about, you are doing wickedly, man. You are not doing what's right. Okay? You're not following these scriptures 100%. You're supposed to read a certain scripture and then be like, okay, cool, this is what this is talking about. Certain scriptures are literal. Certain scriptures you have to get a certain understanding from, which is nothing wrong with that. That's why The Most High set up men so you can understand these scriptures, okay? But it's only up to your spirit to find out which doctrine is correct, okay? Because you do have a lot of other Israelite groups out here who teaches differently from others, all right? But if you really are sincere about finding out the 100% truth, Lord willing, Yahweh Ratazah, the Most High will guide you in that correct direction, all right? So, like it says, receive my instruction and not silver and knowledge rather than choice gold. Hey, you supposed to pray and hope that you receive wisdom rather than worldly things, rather than receiving money, rather receiving things that fulfill your flesh, which is the pleasure of what you enjoy in this earth. See that instruction. Instruction means order, because when you receive instruction, you are being told what to do. Okay, so that's what you need to understand. Hey, when you are being told what to do, when you are, you need to hearken to that. You be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna make sure I do that, and in the meantime, while they're telling me what to do, I'm gonna make sure I'm find a way to excel at it as well. Okay, because at the end of the day, you just don't want to receive instruction. You just don't want to be in this thing just because somebody told you to. The scriptures tell you to study to show yourself approved. So you got to get into this thing for yourself. You can't just be like, oh, they said that the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites, so I definitely believe them. No, you're supposed to go into these scriptures for yourself and find out everything for yourself. Okay? The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride and arrogancy and the evil way and the froward mouth do I hate. All right, so do not be arrogant. Like I said, never put yourself above another brother. You got elders out here who've been in this thing for 10, 15 years, 20 years, or whatever. And some of them still be like, look, man, I'm just trying to be just like you. You might hear the apostles and everything be like, look, you can't come up to me and tell me what it is, because that's just what it is. You have to put a certain balance on what's going on. You're like, no, look, these men have been in here for 30 plus years. How you gonna tell them what's going on, man? Just like if you get hired at a job and you start day one and then you come up to a manager, not even a manager, you come into somebody who's working the same position as you, but they've been working there for 10 years. Can you come in there and tell them how things operate? Can you go in there and tell them how to make things flow better? Nah, man, you're going to listen to them first. They're going to train you. Okay. So, you got to make sure that you don't buck up against the instruction. All right. Make sure you always stay humble, learn. And then once you learn, you'll be in a better position to the point where you're like, all right, look, I can start speaking for myself a little bit, and I can start, putting my 2 cents in. Now you can start going out there and to teach. Now you can start going out there to do whatever you need to do in order to maintain your faith, in order to grow within the spirit. Okay, this is Sirach 10 and 24. It says, great men and judges and potentates or potentates or Salakia, potent or whatever that word is, shall be honored. Yet is there none of them greater than he that feareth the Lord. Unto the servant that is wise shall they that are free do service, and he that have knowledge will not grudge when he is reformed. Be not overwise in doing thy business, and boast not thyself in the time of thy distress. Better is he that laboreth and aboundeth in all things than he that boasteth himself and wanteth bread. All right, like I said, man, never get into the spirit where you feel like, man, I really need to show them that I understand this scripture more than they do. Man, I've really been, the Most High really put the spirit upon me to reveal what this scripture is talking about. No, man, no. You get into the spirit, you be like, oh, okay, look, this is what it is. Okay, let me ask questions to make sure that this is the correct understanding of the scripture. And then once you understand it, you move on. All right. Verse 25, it says, unto the servant that is wise shall they that are free do service, and he that have knowledge will not grudge when he is reformed. Let's look up this word reformed. Reform. All right, and it says the improvement or amendment of what is wrong, corrupt, unsatisfactory, etc. See, the improvement or amendment of what is wrong, corrupt, unsatisfactory, etc. An instance of this, the amendment of conduct, belief. Look at that, man, etc. All right. To change to a better state, form, etc., improve or alteration, substitution, abolition, etc., to cause a person to abandon wrong or evil ways of life or conduct, to put an end to, all right, to subject to the process of reforming as is refining petroleum, to abandon evil conduct or error, all right. So this is what happens when you are reformed, man. When somebody tells you, like, look, man, you going off. Like, how you gonna come up and change the whole doctrine of something that you learned from? How you gonna learn about this truth and then tell the ones you learned this from and they're going off, man? That's wicked as hell. All right. It says reform, man. It says to amend the amendment of conduct, belief, etc., which meaning to better yourself, meaning to understand what's going on, to abandon what's wrong. Okay. You have to realize if a brother make a video about you and everything like that, man, you are not supposed to take that personally. You're supposed to listen to what they're saying and everything like that, right? And then after you do that, you're supposed to take heed to what they're saying. And then after you take heed to what they're saying, you be like, okay, let me look into it for myself. And then you be like, you know what? These brothers are right. You're not supposed to have that nigga spirit upon you where if somebody tell you that you're doing wrong, oh, no, you brothers are wrong. You can't tell me that I'm wrong. No, man. That's why they always say, man, you know, when it comes to a story, you have to listen to both sides. You listen to both sides, and then people come up to the conclusion where they be like, well, who's telling the truth and who's wrong? Who's out here just to prove their point? You're not supposed to be the prove your point Israelite. All right. You're supposed to be like, okay, look, you know, I am wrong. Okay. Let me correct my ways. And then you show them, and like I said, within truth and sincerity, you show them that you were wrong. You be like, okay, cool, man. I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge this. I'm gonna meditate on it. I'm gonna pray on it, and then, Lord willing, the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is gonna take me out of the spirit, and I can move on my life. And you won't have to feel any guilt, because, like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't do that, the only thing you're doing is causing yourselves to bring in more enemies to your life. And that's what you don't want, man. Now, every time you teach or whatever, every time you speak about the word, or every time you do anything, now you have to have that hard spirit on you. Now you have to be like, oh, man, look, man, what they talking about is bullshit. No, man, what y'all doing this for, man? No, why y'all teaching these scriptures like that? Why y'all doing this? Why y'all doing that? That's going to be your whole show, so to speak. Every time you present yourself on the stage that you built, you're gonna put on a show where you're gonna put on that idiocy show. You're gonna look like a complete idiot, because you're not gonna be edifying no more. Only thing you're gonna be doing is finding a way to speak your piece so you can show other people that what I'm saying is right, which is gonna lead to your damnation, man. All right. This is Proverbs 17:27. It says, he that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Okay? So even a fool, even somebody who doesn't even know this truth, even somebody that knows nothing about what's going on, if they know this is not their lot, they're not gonna speak on it, man. They're gonna be like, all right, well, whatever, this is what you believe in, this is what you speak about, I'm gonna let you do you. Okay, men who come into this truth, man, you know, a lot of them, they just like to, you know, exalt themselves. I have the best breakdowns, man. Listen to me for everything that I have to do and everything like that. Nah, man, you supposed to be like, no, look, I'm equal. Not equal, but all I'm doing is learning just like the rest of y'all, man. That's it. And when it comes to certain situations, like I said, you don't have to speak on it all the time, man. You could just listen to brothers a lot of times. Turn on a video, listen to what they have to say, and that's it. You don't have to post scriptures all the time. You don't have to put yourself on Front Street all the time, man. You could just be like, look, let me just listen. You know, you can sort of speak. I ain't saying be like a woman, but you know, just like the scriptures say, let your women keep silent in the churches. You know, I ain't saying be like a woman, but at the same time, you can be like, hey, sometimes, hey, I could just listen to a video, turn on a video, or if I'm at a camp or whatever, I could just stand there and let me listen, man. Just listen. Because you know, at the end of the day, man, when you just listen, those words come into your mind or whatever, and you pretty much marinate within that spirit. You pretty much marinate on those words, and certain things that your spirit will allow you to connect with more than others will stick with you. Next thing you know, you go back home, you be like, man, I learned a lot today. Now, those certain scriptures or those certain words that stuck with you, now you're able to capitalize on them, and you're able to put your 2 cents in now. All right. So sometimes you don't have to speak all the time. Sometimes, hey, just sit there and be like, all right, it is what it is. All right. Let's get 1 Peter 5:1. And it says, the elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Hamashiach and Yahushai, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of the Most High which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves to the elder. Yeah, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For the Most High resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble. Okay? He giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourself in the spirit at all time. All right? And then like it says in verse 3, neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. Meaning being an example to the flock. Okay? Because once you learn this truth, man, you have to present yourself in a certain manner. Okay? Now, you being a man has grown to a whole nother level now. You know, when you in the world, they be like, man, a true man, you know, goes home and take care of his family, make sure he get a job, make sure he's making enough money to maintain his household, and he's responsible, so forth and so on, right? But when you come into this truth, now you have an even bigger responsibility, because you're getting ready to the point where you're getting ready to teach these men and these women out here that comes across your videos, come across your channel, come across you in the streets, all right? And they're listening to you, because certain, you know, that's just how it is. Certain people will connect more with you than others, which is nothing wrong with that. You know, we all listen to each other. We all give each other a chance, because at the end of the day, we're all preaching the same thing. But that's just how it is, man. Certain people might listen to you more than others. So you got to make sure that you're setting an example of how to be within this truth, man. You have to be an ensemble to the flock, whether you have 5 people watching you or whether you have 2,000 people watching you. You have to be an ensemble. You have to be an example to who's watching you, man, because they're going to learn from you. If you teach them to do wickedly, or you teach them to be proud or whatever and everything like that, but you're teaching them the truth at the same time, you're pretty much, they're going to be like children. You know, you raise your children or whatever, you know, more than likely your children are going to grow up to be just like their parents, but with their own twists within their personality. That's how it's going to be, man. They're going to learn from you. They're going to be like, well, this is how he did it or whatever. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to, speak on it in a certain manner outside of him. So then I can make sure my own personal self is manifested a little bit, you know, so then they can be that example to the people that they teach and preach to. Okay. So when you come into this truth, you got to make sure that, you know, you're setting the right example, man. Do not be out here doing whatever, man. You know, you got to, always mention, look, I'm humble. Look, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm not saying I'm part of the elect. I'm not saying this and that, you know, so all I'm doing is fearing Yahweh by Hashem and Yahweh Shai, man. And I already know what fear comes with. Hey, when fear comes with instruction, fear will lead to being humble. Fear will lead to you going out to these highways and these byways. Fear will lead to you changing your ways. Fear will lead you into repenting 100%. All right. You got to be the exact example, man, because you don't want the people that has been listening to you to be like, well, I learned this from him and learned this or whatever, and whatever the case may be. And then now who the finger's going to be pointed back at? You. Because this is where they learned it from. All of that pride and everything like that is going to be brought back on you, man. So you don't want that, man. You want to make sure that whoever you're teaching, they're going to understand this and they're going to conduct themselves as men. Okay. Let's get this one last scripture right here. Let's get Matthew 18:1. And it says, at the same time came the disciples to Yahweh Shai, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahweh Shai called a little child and sent him and set him in the midst of them and said, verily, I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. But whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. So that's what you got to do, man. You got to humble yourself as a little child, man, because one of the things are, so like you, when a child is born, man, they're looking for guide. They're looking for aid. They're looking for help. They're looking for somebody to lead them because they don't know what's going on. They just been brought into this world, and pretty much they open their eyes and open their ears, and they're seeing what's going on around them or whatever, and they're being fed with what's going on in this world. So then, the more and more they grow, that's the more and more they know how to adjust to this world. So it's the same way with this word. When you first come into this truth, you have to look at them as little children. You have to be like, look, okay, they don't know anything about this word. They don't know how serious this is. They don't know the mysteries of these scriptures and everything like that. But the people that literally stopped to listen or came across a video, whatever the case may be, they're looking for that guide. They're looking for that aid. They're looking for that help so they can continue to grow within what they came across, man. And then it comes, like I said, going back to this scripture, you have to be like the same way. You have to humble yourself as a little child as well. Okay. You have to remember where you came from. You got to remember where you came from, man. You got to remember you were once in the world, and out of nowhere you came across YouTube or whatever the case may be. And you was like, yeah, man, I remember learning this truth from these brothers and, back then or whatever and everything like that. Now, look, I got my own YouTube channel. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So now, once again, you got to be ensamples. You got to be examples to your flock, man. And one of the ways you do that is you humble yourself as a little child, man. You never get to the point where you need to buck up against your teachers. Okay? Always be like, okay, look, are you right? Let me understand what's going on and everything like that, and then I'll move forward. Now, like I said, certain situations might come up where you might realize the people that were above you, they might be wicked, and that's why the scriptures tell you to, when you get in the spirit, to discern between good and evil. When you come into this truth, what's right and you know what's wrong. Okay. So it might be certain brothers above you that might be wicked, and they might be telling you certain things or might be putting you in certain situations that is wrong and everything like that. Hey, sometimes you got to speak up. It is what it is, but that's what the spirit is for, man. If you had the 144% spirit upon you, you're going to know what's good and you're going to know what's evil. So, like I said, at the end of the day, you discern between what's good and what's evil. And then at the end of the day, when you realize what's the correct way, you're still not going to have that pride against you. Just because you might get into a certain situation where you might realize your leader is wrong, you don't be like, well, yeah, now look, oh shit, I told you was wrong. I told you this. Yeah, man, I told you they was going off. They was going off. Nah, you just look at them like, yeah, you were going off. You were doing something that's not correct. We need to get rid of you, but you still keep the same spirit that you had when you learned this truth in the beginning. That's the point, man. That's the point. You always stay humble. You take action when action is needed, and then you move forward, man. That's it. You don't never put yourself in a position where you like, okay, now I'm gonna speak on something because the leader or whoever it was going off. No, you be like, okay, look, now that he's gone, I can keep moving what I was doing, and now I can stay in the spirit and do what is necessary to please Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's it. All right, so man, like I said, so hopefully this was edifying. Like I said, stay humble. Never let that pride take you over. And, always stay in the spirit, man, because especially within these last days, there's a lot going on and a lot more is getting ready to happen. So make sure you are always within the correct spirit, man, because you don't want to be caught up in the wrong scenario when this place goes down. All right. So with that, man, I'm going to say call Halayim, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstone, which I learned is true from. Honors to the elders and brothers out there pushing this word to the four corners of the earth within truth and sincerity. And shalom to the Akwathas listening and learning. And Yahweh Ratazah, I'll be back with another lesson. Keep pushing, Yasserala. Keep pushing. We almost out of here. Shalom.